Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good night, depending where in the world you are. I am Scott Center. Unfortunately, my co-host Ed Allison Wright is stuck somewhere over the skies of Europe and a flight delay, and this is Centerpiece. Very excited today, thrilled actually to have Diego Cortese from World Trade Center Dubai join us. World Trade Center in Dubai has been around over 40 years. It is one of the most successful, if not the most successful, World Trade Center in our whole network. They've got a dazzling array of amenities, hotels, apartments, retail. It's unbelievable. And speaking of success, a great method to measure their success is the fact that in 2024, they brought in 22.3 billion dirhams in economic impact to Dubai. And every one of those dirhams had a picture of the World Trade Center facility on them. So it's also great advertising for World Trade Center in Dubai. And Diego has been very generous. He joined us on the stage in Marseille at the Global Business Forum and sharing how they've become so successful. So under his leadership, he's been great with the network, which is why we all joined this network. So basically, Diego, my first question is, how'd you do it?
Well, thank you, Scott, for having me on the podcast. I think introducing us as the most successful trade center is a little bit intimidating, I would say, and I don't want to take the limelight from any other trade centers. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't know actually which of the trade center is the most successful, and then by which criteria you define them. But to your question on the economic contribution, so translated in dollar terms, it's slightly above 6 billion of economic impact. And how we do it, it's I don't think there's one single recipe, and it's really the combination of factors that work together to create as much economic impact as possible. And I think if I had to pinpoint three, I would say number one is that's what our aim is. So if you look at our vision mission, since we've been established in 1979, our objective is to put Dubai on the map when it comes to MICE, so meetings, incentive, conventions, and events, and really establish Dubai as a leading business destination around the world. So for us, creating economic impact is what we aim for. So investments, I think in Marseille, I had the opportunity to present what we're doing with the new exhibition center that is currently under construction. It's a project of approximately 2.7 billion over the next 5 years that will almost double the capacity that we have to host exhibitions and events. So we're putting the money as well behind this industry. So really, priority and focus is the number one criteria. The second success factor, I would say, is our location on the world map, and the fact that we are strategically located across massive trade flows between the Asian world, the European world, the African continent, and that position really helped us establish Dubai as a hub for doing business and facilitating business across the wider region. So our strategic location has a key role to play in that. And we're trying really to be the stable destination where it's safe and it's predictable to do business in the wider region. And then the third recipe, I would say, is that the entire city is behind what we're doing. The coordination and collaboration between the different stakeholders, government, whether it's immigration, whether it's the Department of Economy and Tourism, whether it's the Dubai Police, everyone around the city, the RTA, Emirates, airlines, the airport, everybody works in the same direction, and we really all have the same objective. And I think those three factors have helped us really establish ourselves as a really credible hub for that.
I guess it's kind of a cliche, but it's true. It's a location, location, location. But it's not just location, 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 because of the work y'all have done there in Dubai. You've made helped make Dubai a global magnet for international business. It's well known for that. And the past year, you've had incredible growth, 32% increase in your business, and what you had 2 million attendees to your events. What do you attribute that to, and how can other World Trade Centers do like y'all did?
So I think last year, I would say I would go back to the post-COVID period, because I think that's where we have seen since 2020 a massive acceleration. And yeah, we had 32% year-on-year growth. But if I look at the past 4 years, we've had similar growth levels. And I think what's happened is COVID has sort of established a bit of a reset and a bit of a repositioning when it comes to what are the destinations where people are comfortable doing business in. And I think post-COVID, especially when I look at the year 2021, 22, 23, there was a market share shift. So we've attracted events that were previously held in other destinations, and they found it easier, more consumer friendly or visitor friendly or delegates friendly, if you will, to take their event in Dubai. And I think it's attributed to this, what I was mentioning before, around the stakeholders and the seamless integration of all the services you can get in Dubai. We are almost, I mean, we are part of the United Arab Emirates, but Dubai has every facet of what one is looking for is available in Dubai, whether you want to do business, whether you want to do leisure. So we can blend all of these factors together. And when people decide on where they want to take their event, and everything is available as a one-stop shop almost in Dubai, it's a formula that works for a lot of organizers. So the ease of doing business, and the offering, the wide offering, the infrastructure is available. We have over 200 flights connecting here Dubai with the rest of the world. So it's really very, very easy and convenient, a very easy and convenient destination to reach. And as a result of that, it becomes also very cost effective, because it's accessible for everyone.
Well, yeah, it is very accessible. The flights are excellent, and they're not delayed as much as if we're flying around Europe, as our poor friend Ed can say, stranded up above the European landscape. Wouldn't have that problem if it was headed to Dubai to do this interview in person. 85,500 jobs created, luring high spending international visitors, which y'all are responsible for. How has that made Dubai affected the social aspect of Dubai and of course the economic aspect of Dubai?
Yeah, so if I may, we haven't created last year 85,000 jobs. Just to be clear on the number, we sustained 85,000 jobs. So when we publish our economic impact report, we look at all the people that are involved across the value chain connected to the event. So these are contracting companies, organizers, destination management companies, hoteliers, and things like that ultimately evolve around that ecosystem that I would say we're the centerpiece of that ecosystem, and we sustain around 85,000 jobs. So I think every destination who wants to put events and exhibitions on the map would probably see similar levels of economic contribution and economic impact. It's a matter of whether this is an industry that countries or cities really want to promote as one of the pillar for themselves. In Dubai, we have the MICE industry, so exhibition and conferences particularly, are anchored into a wider national strategy, which is called D33, Horizon 2033. And we basically form a core part of that strategy. And the overall ambition for us over the next now 8 years is to triple the economic contribution of this sector and double the number of events that we want to host. So we are being given this responsibility and this mandate. So as a result of that, you would naturally find job opportunities. You would naturally find all the adjacent sectors growing alongside what we're doing.
Oh, that is very ambitious, and I'm sure you're going to pull that off. It's amazing. International visitors spend about 6 times more than domestic visitors, and y'all are just driving them into Dubai. How can we use this information to impact local government leaders? I know you don't have a problem there, but this is for the other World Trade Centers. How could you advise them to use that data to make the case to civic leaders and developers to support a World Trade Center in their communities?
Yeah, so that's really not a secret for anyone hosting event. The value of bringing in international delegates to your event and the added economic contribution that it has on the city, I think is well known by most of the cities. Now, the question is, how do you really promote that? How can you really communicate around that to get the support that you would wish for? Actually, these are the numbers. So we calculate it. We know that when we bring in international visitors, and actually we break it down by even source market and countries of visit, because we're able to analyze it even in finer details. If you're coming from the US, Scott, as an international delegate, I actually know what is your value in terms of economic contribution versus somebody else coming from, I don't know, Germany, or somebody coming from India, or someone coming from China, because we have collected over the years enough data to understand the patterns and the spending behaviors of the different markets. So maybe the advice would be you could even go one step further and try to attract events from specific markets if your objective is really just the economic impact and maximizing it. But really, there are, I mean, on a daily basis, we compete on global bids to attract international events that rotate around the world. And we compete with with much more mature cities, by the way, than Dubai. On top of the list, you would have cities like Barcelona, which are doing extremely well. Cities like Copenhagen, Paris, in the US, New York is doing extremely well. In Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore. You always have, we always have the same concept. And in some cases, these cities are actually able to get even more government support than we would have in Dubai, as in proper financial contribution. I take examples, the World Mobile Congress or the Web Summit. If you want these events to be hosted in your city, you have to pay something for it. Now, obviously, it's a longer term investment because you're expecting more economic return on the city when you host these events. But the secret, I think, for us is that we're trying to make all of these events work financially for all the stakeholders involved, without having to buy them out, or without having to put a lot of cash advances on the table. Now, this being said, every international event, we would always work on identifying how we can support financially, and if for that purpose we work very closely with the local convention bureau, who have specific programs that help the organizers financially on hosting their events here, and we work extremely closely with them. But ultimately, the way we like to think about it is we want to make sure that people, when they pick Dubai as their destination, are picking it because they're going to generate more value out of this event than if they were to pick another destination. So we really always focus on how much value can we really give, and how much return on investment can we give an organizer, so that it makes perfect sense for them to come here. So obviously, connectivity, infrastructure, logistics, all of that is very important. But if I'm able, through all of this, to convince an organizer that if they bring their event to Dubai, they will actually have an increase of 20 or 25% in visitor attendance or in paid delegate participation, well, that translates directly into revenue and their bottom line. And as a result of that, their events are also more successful. So this is really the way we like to pitch it, and we like to position Dubai is a very business mindset, if you will, in the way we're doing it. So we always look at the return on investment of the end client, and this is why it works so well.
Diego, that's a brilliant strategy to very sustainable economically to target groups that want to buy not just for some cash payout, but for all the other factors you mentioned. That's really a high quality way to do it, and I guess that's one of the secret sauces of why you're so successful at doing it. But go ahead and spill the tea. You said that you know how much somebody from Savannah, Georgia would spend as opposed to somebody from Germany. How much would I spend as compared to how much would Ed, Allison Wright from Gibraltar spend if they come to Dubai? Who spends more, Savannahans or Gibraltarians? And if you don't know, you can pass on that question.
Yeah, I think I will pass on the question, but I'm sure on a very high level, you can also figure out what would potentially be the spending habit. But some are very simple economics. If you're coming to Dubai, you're gonna be on a 14 hours flight or 14 to 16-hour flights. We know that that's obviously the cost of that flight is not the same as somebody flying 3 hours from Mumbai to Dubai. So it's nothing. It's not rock science. As a matter of fact, it's just spending the time looking at these factors and the KPIs that matter. Which type of hotels are they staying? How much entertainment are they doing when they're in the city? How much public transportation? How much? It's not rocket science. Mm-hmm. You just need to put the effort and do those exercises because they matter. And then you can scale it up, and that's what gives you really the real picture. So it's just crunching numbers and be able to do the right extrapolation.
All right, well, thank you very much. So it's been a pleasure having you. I appreciate your generosity with the network and sharing all your insights, which you have a whole lot of, and it's very beneficial for this network, which is the whole strength of this network. The work you're doing in Dubai shows why being a member of the World Trade Center Association is so important and so beneficial. So on behalf of my co-host Stuck Up in the Sky and myself, I'd like to say good night, good morning, good evening, depending on where in the world you are. And thank you, Diego.
Thank you very much for hosting me.